What's good? How y'all doing today? It's been like a week since we did this, like a long form video. So it's a lot of things I want to talk about. We're going to start out with the finals a little bit just because we haven't yet. So shout out to Steph Curry, won finals MVP. Shout out to the Warriors for winning the fourth title in 8 years. Major accomplishment. During the finals and probably the week after the Warriors won the finals, so many people were having the conversation of, is Steph top 10? Is Steph top 10? Is Steph top 10? And it's funny because I was actually watching Kenny Beecham's second channel. Shout out to him, Kenny, for real. Check it out if you're an NBA fan. But he said something very similar to what I literally had said the day before he posted it. Basically, someone asked him, is Steph top 10? And someone asked me that question, is Steph top 10? And my initial reaction is, oh yeah, sure, Steph's top 10. But then you get the conversation of, well, who do you remove? Is it like, do you remove Hakeem? Do you remove like Shaq? Do you remove Kareem, Magic, Bird, MJ? Like, who's in your top 10 is your top 10, right? I haven't made a top 10 list. We might get to there this summer. I don't know. But I think the harder part is, who do you remove from that top 10 to put Steph in? I think as NBA fans, sometimes we get hung up on this and get caught up in this. And that's cool. That's cool to do. Top 10 lists, top 5 lists, they're fun to do. But I think sometimes we put a little bit too much weight on them. Because if I drop my top 10 list and I don't have somebody that you have, everyone's going to freak out in the comment section. We'll probably get there one day. Not today. So is Steph top 10? Is he deserving of a top 10? Does he have a top 10 resume? I would say so, yeah. He has four championships, a finals MVP, 2 MVPs, 1 unanimous MVP, all-time three-point shooter, the greatest three-point shooter of all time, one of the best point guards of all time, arguably probably the second best, if not the best point guard of all time. He has the resume to be considered a top 10 player of all time, hands down. You just get a little the nitty-gritty of who you're going to remove. That might be a conversation for a different day. We also had the draft recently. I've said this before. I'm not a huge college basketball guy. I don't watch a lot of college ball. I watch the tournament and mainly just for the enjoyment of high-level basketball. Do I necessarily know the guys who are running up and down the court when I'm watching the tournament? No. That being said, I did watch the draft. I watched it when I was on Xbox in the party with my guys. I don't have any crazy hot takes, I'll be honest with you. My biggest thing, I've said it a ton of times, I just wanted Chet to go to OKC. That's all I wanted out of this whole thing. I like his game, at least from what I've seen. OKC needing a center. They're already a young team that's developing a lot of young players. There's not a ton of expectations on this team at all. I think they just want to let the guys go out, play basketball, play good basketball, obviously, and develop to the best of their ability. And I think he has the opportunity to do that in OKC. I also can't wait to see an SGA Chet pick and roll, a Gideon Chet pick and roll. It's going to be beautiful basketball. Okay, moving on from the draft, let's talk about this whole Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving situation. So the last I heard from Woj, the Nets and Kyrie are still in conversations of how to make this contract work. I'm hearing that potentially the 3rd and 4th year of his deal could be some sort of non-guaranteed thing that you have to play at least a certain amount of games. If I'm Kyrie, I don't know if I want to do that, because then it depends on if there's injury contingencies in there, if I get injured or I don't play. But also if you're the Nets, you're like, well, part of the reason we're doing this is you have faced a little bit of injury and haven't played for us. COVID happened, you didn't play for us. So I get why the Nets are doing this. I think the solution to this is really, really simple. You ask Kevin Durant, if we trade Kyrie, will you stay? If he says no, I'm giving Kyrie exactly what he wants to keep Kevin Durant there. If Kevin Durant says, hey, yo, I'm cool with Kyrie leaving, just make sure we get something back good in return, then I would look into trading Kyrie if you really don't want him there. But whatever Kevin Durant says, whatever Kevin Durant wants, that's what has to happen in Brooklyn. Because if he's saying, if Kevin Durant is saying, if y'all trade Kyrie, I'm going to leave too, that's the last thing you would if you're the Brooklyn Nets, because you're going to be right back to where you were after you did the Paul Pierce KG trade, where you had years of mediocrity. And then you had some exciting years in them D'Lo, Spencer Dinwiddie years. And then now you're here with the KD Kyrie situation. You don't want to go back with the Paul Pierce KG days. After they left, you have no draft picks and you're just stuck. But on the flip side, me as a fan, regardless of what happens with Kyrie's situation, I want Kevin Durant to stay in Brooklyn. Y'all know me by now. I'm a huge Kevin Durant fan. Part of his legacy at this rate is being known as a guy who hops from team to team. I think going to the Warriors will always haunt his resume. If he leaves Brooklyn after it blows up, didn't work, people are going to kill him for it. I would love to see him prove the haters wrong, regardless of what Kyrie decides to do, regardless of what Nets decide to do with Kyrie. Decide to stay in Brooklyn. It's already a big market that other free agents are going to want to play in. And you're also Kevin Durant. Everybody in the league wants to play with you. So you can get anybody you want to come play with you. I would stay in Brooklyn. I would make the team mine and just go from there. We'll see what happens, but that's what I would like to see. Some other news around the league. I'm very curious to see what Bradley Beal's going to do. I think he's a guy who can fit on almost any team. Now, you got to make the contract work. You got to make the money work. But his game, he can be an off-ball guy. He can be an on-ball guy. We've seen him develop into a better playmaker over these last couple of years, especially when John Wall wasn't there. But we also know he's an amazing shot creator and create his own shot and dominate the ball if he needs to. From what I've seen, he hasn't indicated exactly where he would like to go. But I would love to see Bradley Beal on a team like Miami, a team that already has some really solid defense. He can be a great plug and play guy. He can just fit right in immediately. I'll be crazy, but I'd love to swap Bradley Beal for James Harden on my Sixers. Mainly because I know what I'm going to get from Bradley Beal. I still don't feel like I know what I'm going to get from James Harden on a night-to-night basis. Shoot, even the Lakers. Bradley Beal would look great in the Lakers. So where he ends up going, honestly, I'm not really sure. It depends on what type of NBA player he wants to be known as. To me, at least, and I can't remember who said this on TikTok, and I wish I could shout him out, but I can't remember. He basically said Bradley Beal doesn't have the type of career, at least so far, that he needs to win a championship. He's not that type of player. There are certain players, the Kevin Durant's, the LeBrons, the Stephs, even Anthony Davis to an extent, that we felt needed to win championships to solidify their legacy. The Dwayne Wades, like the people who have potential to be all-time greats that we're going to remember 30 years from now, like that everyone's going to remember 30 years from now. Bradley Beal doesn't necessarily remind me of that type of player, which is no offense to Bradley Beal. At least that's not what I'm trying to say. He's a bona fide all-star. He's a guy who's had a great career, but he strikes me more as the guy who can just go for the bag and nobody's gonna be mad at him for it. Go get your money. Go to whoever's paying you the most that allows you to still play basketball at a high level. If you want to really win a championship, then sure, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But I also don't think that's going to raise or lower people's rankings of you all time, because Bradley Beal doesn't strike me as a guy who we're going to be ranking all time 10, 20 years from now. So if I'm you, Bradley Beal, I'd go get the bag. And last thing before we head up out of here, I'm pulling it up right now as we speak. I was supposed to do one a while ago. I just really didn't get an opportunity to, so I apologize. Let's do a couple of Q&As from the Discord. Shout out to the Discord. Y'all been rocking with me in the Discord. It's been a lot of fun, especially during the draft. We were in there heavy. During the finals, we were in there heavy. So if you're not a part of the Discord, shameless plug, link is in the bio. And if you want to be a part of the Q&As, I pulled the questions from the Discord. So, you know what I mean? Join the Discord. First question, Weary asks, Draymond Green or Blake Griffin, who you taking? So I said, depends for me, starting a franchise or adding a piece to an already established team. He said just either, like either who's better or who are you building a team around? This is a really interesting question to me because Draymond brings so much to the table, right? We know what Draymond brings to the Warriors organization, all defensive level player, all defensive player of the year at one point, excellent playmaker. But I also know what Blake can bring to the table. Some really, really versatile scoring. His Detroit year, I wish he never got injured in Detroit, because his Detroit year, when he was good, to me was peak Blake Griffin. It was the best version of Blake Griffin we've ever seen. He finally seemed like he developed a better post game that we've been asking him for years when he was in the Clippers. He finally developed a consistent, and I mean an extremely consistent three-point shot off the dribble, catch and shoot, being able to take bigs off the dribble and then shoot the ball in their face. It was a version of Blake Griffin I feel like we've never seen. This is me. If I'm starting a franchise, I'm taking Blake Griffin over Draymond Green. I absolutely love Draymond Green. I love his game. I love what he brings to the table. But I feel like you have to build a team around Draymond Green to make him effective. I don't know if you're going to take Draymond Green and pop him on any other team in the league and he'd be able to do the same stuff he does for the Warriors. Blake Griffin, on the other hand, I like his game a lot. I've always liked his game. Now, he's a shell of his former self with the Nets. I think he could still have a little bit more in the tank, but the Nets don't necessarily play him as much. Ask me, if I were to start a franchise right now, who would I want, Blake or Draymond? Knowing the upside for Draymond, even knowing all that, if I'm starting a franchise from scratch and I have the first pick, and those are my two options, I'm taking Blake Griffin. Weary also asks, shout out to Weary, these are some solid questions today. Does Jalen Brunson deserve a Fred VanVleet level contract? Well, first off, let's pull it up to see what Fred's contract is. So Fred's contract is currently a 4-year, $85 million. He signed it and started in 2020. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm giving it at Jalen Brunson easily. About $20 million a year on average. Easily, I'm giving it to Jalen Brunson. Because the thing is, that's crazy about it, even if the Mavericks don't, somebody in the league will try to. He's an unrestricted free agent this summer. He's coming off a 4-year, $6 million contract. I'm hearing reports that the Knicks are ready to give him $100 million. Like, Jalen Brunson proved these playoffs and this year in general that he's a really good number 2, number 3 guy. Someone who can play on and off the ball. He's going to get between $80 to $100 million easily in my book. This is going to be the last one we do. Baby Rage asks, who are you taking as a center on your team? Rudy Gobert or Robert Williams? During the finals, I came across a tweet that basically the tweet said, what we're seeing from Robert Williams, being able to guard the paint so well, looking so elite out there defensively, it's exactly what we would see from Rudy, if not better from Rudy, in my opinion, if he had guards who were at least solid on defense. Robert Williams has the benefit of playing with the person who literally just won Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart, 2 great two-way wings in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Sometimes he's on the floor with Al Horford, who's a low-key guard big who can kind of switch a little bit, or at least hedge hard and get back well. He has a great defensive team around him. So it allows him to, and this is not trying to take anything away from him, it allows him to be an elite shot blocker and allows him to be an elite help defender in the paint when somebody does happen to get past their perimeter defender. He's there all the time, every time. It allows him to be a great paint protector. Rudy Gobert is, and I've said this before, Rudy Gobert is already an elite, and in my mind, the best paint defender in the league right now. And he probably has some of the worst, if not the worst, perimeter defense on his team. The Jazz are consistently a top 10 defensive team solely because of Rudy Gobert. So if you're going to ask me who am I picking, just thinking defensively, Robert Williams or Rudy Gobert, I'm taking Rudy Gobert 10 times out of 10. And that's no disrespect to Robert Williams. I like him a lot. I like his game a lot. Time Lord is my guy. But 10 out of 10, I'm taking Rudy over him. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. We got a lot of new followers over the last couple of weeks. Shout out to YouTube Shorts. So if you're new here, appreciate you for pulling up. Appreciate you for subscribing. Appreciate you for liking the videos, commenting the videos, sharing it with a friend. You know what I mean? I'm here to talk about basketball. I love talking about basketball. We're going to keep talking about basketball in the off season, so don't worry about that. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.